Good morning, everyone. It's going to be another gorgeous day here. It's all fogged up right now. Lots of humidity in the air. Everything is just a little damp everywhere. And, yep, the farrier come and all the hoofs are took care of, right? We have all the tools here to take care of the hoofs of the animals, but we don't really have anybody here who really knows how to do that. So, like for emergencies, when you have to trim something off, that obviously this is a problem, we can do that. But then a farrier still has to come, because one thing with horses' hooves that's really, really, really important is that it's cut even, that their hoofs are even. Yeah? Yes, for them to feel really comfortable walking. Well, what about the horses of the Indians? They may have done the same thing. Well, what about wild horses? Well, if you go and look up how long wild horses live in the wild, it's they die at a much younger age than the ones we domesticated, right? I doubt that you would find a 40-year-old horse in a wild herd. Just saying. All right. And hoof problems in horses, that's a problem. Right? Anytime something goes wrong with their hoofs, it's a problem. Right? Well, it's a problem for us too, right? If we don't feed right. Well, anyway. So that's all took care of, and now we have it scheduled every 2 months. I'm done with the Larifari stuff here. And that's how I used to do it anyway in the past. I had a scheduled time when a farrier would come and take care of their hooves. All their teeth are good. Yes, would you believe you can float a horse's teeth sometimes? Just depending, again, right? They can grow teeth into a point, or they become a point as they wear down, and then they have a really hard time eating, right? And but all of our horses, though we thought Bo, the oldest one, may have a problem, didn't have a problem. And I've been watching him. I could tell now he doesn't have a problem. He's just old. He's just old. Everything goes a lot slower with him these days. But so that's good. That was a good visit. The thrush is being taken care of. I still have to work on Maverick, but Charlie's is already done. And yep, he had to cut away some rotten parts. Ugh, so nasty. Ugh, oh, poor horse. But no more limping. So that's all good. And I cut the reins. Okay, I think I mentioned that already. Done. I'm not taking all them stickers out. And these stickers, I already told you that. It's from a really amazing herb. That's actually an herb that can be used for strep throat, believe it or not. And certain other things, right? Yes, it's a really amazing herb called agrimony. But in the fall, when it's done blooming and produces those seeds, they're like birds and they stick to everything. So, and talking to the farrier, he has a bunch of mules. He loves mules. That's what he has. He has horses too, but he has mules. And he says, yeah, if I would let mine out, he says they would look the same as Bo, who's me, and I'm not allowed to trim. I'm not cleaning that out. You should see it. It's just a matted mess of stickers in the hair. Hey? I read something this morning where we shouldn't insist on our will if it isn't for the best of everyone. Yes? It also said that, does God insist on his will? God insists on his will. That's not true. He doesn't insist on his will. That's why we have freedom of will. Yes? He pleads with us. And he says, well, I know a better way. If you were to go that way, just be a better way, right? For everyone, yes? But God has never insisted on his will. He never has, never will. because of the free will he's given to all mankind. And I think the proof is in the pudding right there in the Old Testament, where he says, well, if I'm not good enough for you as a guide and you want the king and you insist on having the king, then go ahead. God did not insist. No, you're not having one. Right? That's not how it works. Not in my kingdom. Right? He didn't. No. Does he insist you don't lie? Does he insist you don't steal? Does he insist you do not commit adultery? No, he doesn't. But you gave you guidelines not to do any of those things, plus a few more. Right? Yes? Okay, just saying. It's like one of those things. If you insist on driving on the wrong side of the road in your car, you are going to crash eventually. Into who? Someone who's driving on the right side of the road. Okay. Had my say. One more thing. So in Florida, they sounds like they put the death penalty in for child rapists. And in my opinion, nope, I'm not for the death penalty for no one. I feel like that certain things that people do out there, right, is a consequence that rests on the shoulders of everyone. But I'd have a very good solution for people who abuse children. Anyone that abuses children. You make them into a eunuch, the men, right? And apply that. One could apply that. I know it's like what they do in Africa, right? When girls are a certain age, you mutilate their holy places. Yes, so it's there. You go. I think that would be a much better punishment. And then maybe while certain things are taken away to be able to commit the crime per se, right? They still have their hands, right? Yeah, but then one hopefully can I don't know, but they probably should never be let. Besides making them into eunuchs and okay, right? They should never be let out in society again. Never ever. And then one starts with a program, I guess, where you try to rehabilitate them, right? Yes, that no, children are not here for you to amuse yourself like that. Right? Yes, it's much faster. Right? Just put them to death. What Jesus said. I don't know. We haven't gotten to that yet. Right? I said people like to take things out of the Bible, little bits and pieces, right? And then, well, that's what he said. Okay, what did he say beforehand, though? Yes? Or what does he say after? He says something like that. So, yeah, okay. Maybe a little bit more to it. We are in 2 Samuel 5. Let's see. Man, they're kind of short. How much do we have to go here? Samuel 2. Here's Kings. 24. It's going to take us a while. Everything's going to take us a while. But we've done a little bit. Oh, I have 2,000 videos or more after I'm done with this. Ha! Maybe a record. I'll get into the Guinness Book of Records. Ha ha ha! All right. Well, people are in that book for sillier things. All right. So, David, king of Judah and of Israel. David is anointed king of Israel. That is 2 Samuel 5. All the tribes of Israel then came to David at Hebron and said, "Look, we are your own flesh and bone." Really? In days past, when Saul was our king, it was you who led Israel on its campaign, and to you it was that Yahweh promised, you are to shepherd my people Israel and be leader of Israel. Really? Where's that promise? That's a new one. And maybe you guys remember. I don't remember God ever promising anything like that. Okay. Maybe I don't remember. So all the elders of Israel came to the king at Hebron, and King David made a pact with them in Yahweh's presence at Hebron, and they anointed David as king of Israel. A pact. Don't they already have as with the Ark of the Covenant a pact with God? Now they're making a pact amongst each other. You see what happens when you take your own self and your own will in your own hands? This is what happens, and God just kind of put aside. I'm telling you. Okay, all right, Danielle. Okay, I'm sorry. Father, I wish things were different, but they are as they are. David was 30 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 40 years. In Hebron, he reigned over Judah for 7 years and 6 months. Then he reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel and Judah for 33 years. The capture of Jerusalem. I don't have more to say about this. The king and his men then marched on Jerusalem, on the Jebusites, living in the territory. Why is it with every king? What is this now? These said to David, you will not get in here. The blind and the lame will hold you off. Whoa, what? This is to say David will never get in here. Oh. The blind and the lame will hold you off. Oh, I see. I see how that is meant. Yeah. But David captured the citadel of Zion. That is the city of David. That day David said, whoever gets up the tunnel and kills a Jebusite. As for the blind and the lame, David hated them with his whole being. Hence the saying, the blind and the lame may not enter the temple. What is this now? Now, how do they mean that? That he actually hates the blind and the lame? What? No way. It's got to be meant different. No. It's probably meant different. Let's hope it's meant different. It's got to be meant different. David went to live in the citadel and called it the city of David. Didn't call it the city of God, did he? Or the city of Yahweh. He called it the city of David. Oh my gosh. David then built a wall around it from the Milo inwards. David grew stronger and stronger, and Yahweh, God of Sabaoth, was with him. Oh, yeah. Hiram, king of Tyre, sent envoys to David with cedar wood carpenters and stone cutters who built David a palace. Of course. David then knew that Yahweh had confirmed him as king of Israel, and for the sake of his people Israel had extended his sovereignty. The sons born to David in Jerusalem. Oh, more sons. Let's see. Getting more. After coming from Hebron, David took other concubines and wives in Jerusalem, and sons and daughters were born to him. Busy dude. These are the names of those born to him in Jerusalem: Shammua, Shobab, Nathan, Solomon, Ibhar, Elishua, Nepeg, Yaphiah, Elishama, Eliada, and Eliphelet. Okay. Victory over the Philistines. When the Philistines heard that David had been anointed as king of Israel, they all went up to seek him out. On hearing this, David went down to the stronghold. When the Philistines arrived, they deployed in the valley of the Rephaim. David consulted Yahweh and asked, "Shall I attack the Philistines? Will you deliver them into my power?" Yahweh replied to David, "Attack. I shall certainly deliver the Philistines into your power." Accordingly, David went to Baal Perazim, and there David defeated them. He said, "Yahweh has made a breach in my enemies for me, as though they had been breached by a flood." Now, sending an envoy, what does that mean? That's usually not unfavorable. Hey. This is why the place was given the name Baal Perazim. They had left their gods behind them there, and David and his men carried them off. Again the Philistines invaded and deployed in the valley of the Rephaim. David consulted Yahweh, who replied, "Do not attack them from the front. Go round their rear and engage them opposite the balsam trees. When you hear the sound of footsteps in the tops of the balsam trees, advance, for that will be Yahweh going out ahead of you to defeat the Philistine army." David did as Yahweh had ordered and beat the Philistines from Gibeon to the pass of Gezer. All right, there you go. Israel has another king. He's very busy with wives, concubines, and has built himself a palace. And then he had time for war again. All right. All right, done. Nothing else to say to this. I find it interesting that with both Saul and David, there's very little said about the other tribes of Israel. How are they doing? And no doubt, the ones that said, "Yeah, we're going to make you king," this were the elders, were the ones, high priests per se, and the rich ones. I have no doubt, right? Yes? And here, in order to keep their favor, so here is this one guy, sends carpenters, masonry people, and this and that, to build this huge palace. And to David, it's like, oh yeah, I have the support of all them rich people and the old people who are in power. And so, which means, Yahweh is happy with me. Yahweh, I'm exactly where God wants me, right? Yes? But you hear very little about how he takes care of his people. Can you imagine a palace like that? Is David out there working? Making money? Oh, is this why they have so much war and this snap? Because they need to have... Okay. Well, if you don't work, if you don't have your own income, what are you going to do? You're going to go and steal it from someone else, right? Oh, okay, all right. So, well, anyway, and then all them wives and kids. How many of them did he have, actually? Well, they all have to be fed and clothed, and surely they're going to be in nice clothes and good, the best food, and palace. It says palace. What comes with a palace and its inhabitants, right? Yes? But Saul, the same thing. You hear very little about how did the people of Israel actually fare under all this ruling. How did they? How many fathers, sons, grandsons were killed? What does it say in the last part? Expanded. David expanded his sovereignty. To whom? To what? He's just supposed to lead God's people, Israel. Right? Well, anyway. Does one just plow down everyone in one's way? It is what it is, right? Or it was as it was. And God is made good use of. I'd like to know from anyone in the world today that has an open spiritual nature and has had give and take with spirit world, a good spirit world, that if they've ever had a question of, should I just go and kill this person? Should I just go and attack these people? if they ever got an affirmative answer? I'd like to know. Because I know from my own experience that anytime I am angry about something, this and I go, why can't you guys just do something? I know you guys could. Yeah? Just get rid of every, say, child rapist, anyone that abuses children in a sexual way or is hitting them to the point of not discipline, just hurting them. Why? Why can't you just give them some kind of a disease or something and done with? Right? Or right, is it right to think that way? Is it right to have these desires to just, golly, a lot would go much better if, right, certain people just weren't in the world? Do you know? Often I get complete silence with something like that. Or, well, it doesn't work that way. If we decide with power that we do have to eliminate a certain type of people, that's from spirit world now. Because here on earth, what do people do? What do certain leaders, what have leaders done? What are they still doing? Eliminating certain people completely. It's called genocide. But from spirit world, it's if we take the freedom of will from one person, you won't have yours either anymore. So it can't. That's the law in heaven. Yeah, see? So I'm not sure where David got his information that he supposedly asked, right? Yes? I'd say it's a delusion of his own desires. He wasn't listening to God. He wasn't listening to anybody. He had his own delusions, right? And his own, right, desires, his own, right, importance, selfishness, right, answered him back. That's what I believe. Well, anyway, so fine line there. You can't have an omnipotent, omniscient, all-loving God at just certain times and then invent an angry, vengeful, hateful God at other times for your own agenda. That's just how it is. We change laws here all the time, right? Yes? Yeah? In heaven, the laws. In spirit world, the laws don't change. They're absolute constant. And they're natural laws. And that's why there is a difference between the principles of creation and the principles of love. Yes? The leaves are going to fall. There's no way I can invent a law and tell the trees, you can't leave, and you cannot lose your leaves this year. You keep them all. Not going to happen. They're going to lose their leaves. Done. I can't force a tomato plant to grow now. Not going to happen either. I could have a greenhouse. Right? Yes. You create certain conditions. Right. Yet, there's still going to be a cycle, even there, that you can't break. Can't force your will on the principles of creation. Nope, not possible. Anyway, so. Oh, we do. We dam in water, this and that. I think small bodies of water isn't a problem. Big bodies of water. Eventually, dams break, don't they? Huh? Interesting, too. there are in certain places in the world where water was flowing in a certain direction and it would continuously flood where people would be living. Again, okay, why do people live there? But anyway. And one thing that one can do, that we can do, again, because we're intelligent and it doesn't really create that much havoc, is redirect the water, right? Yes? Which then, of course, as well, okay, now you're going to lose certain wildlife, certain plants, this or that a flood usually was good for. Right? Certain things a flood would be good for. Right? But redirecting water is still better than damming water in, don't you think? Oh. Well, anyway, so there it is. I think as people, we just need to not insist on our own will when it comes to many different things, especially when it comes to the principles of creation. Right? Yes? Because of what I just said, that you can't insist your will upon the principles of creation. Eventually, it's going to turn into something not so good anymore and will create problems. What we can do, though, as mankind, is get out of the way. We can move. A tree can't move. Water just moves wherever. If it's strong enough, it will just move. That's that. Oh, there too. Dual characteristics of God. Amazing. But as people, we can move out of the way when we know, right? Yes? Yet, somehow, we have developed a nature that insists on being in the path of danger. Isn't that something? Well, anyway. So, that's all I have to share this morning. I got to go to the barn. I started working in the garage yesterday, and I got really going. And, oh, it looks good. I just don't know how some people can work in an environment where there is just chaos. I just don't know how they do it. I can't do that, and I got projects. So I'm going to create my own corner in the garage and then leave the rest to the guys. And I'm going to put a note there. If you can use my tools, but if you do, you put them back. And if I find anything missing, you will be replacing it. Mm. And that is that. So, had to clean up the saw as well. That have a table miter saw. My old one just conked out, but man, it lasted what 19 years. 19 years. I cleaned it and kept it in good shape, but eventually the what was it, coil in there burned out, and then something else, and it was like, okay, it can't be fixed anymore. This is it, done. And so we got another one, a little smaller one, and I'm already seeing how it's not being taken care of, and it boogers the heck out of me. So I cleaned it up really nice, right? Yes. And then when I have a talk with the guys when they get here. I'm so bossy, aren't I? Is it? Is it being bossy? Or is it just, hey, life doesn't grow on trees here. But garbage sure grows at the dumps everywhere else. They're charging again here to go and dump, right? If you bring in a truck with stuff, they're charging again now. Some other refuse company took over here, and now they're charging again, and the people are dumping again. Not there, everywhere else. It's very sad. It's just like, ugh. Anyway, so to take care of one's things, keep them cleaned up. This makes them last a lot longer, which means a lot less stuff goes to the dump, right? Or over a hill, right? Yes, isn't that the truth? Well, anyway. Oh my goodness. What else do I need to talk about? Okay, well, I'm going to enjoy the fall colors today as well while I'm out there. And I got my knee compression sleeves on. Oh, they're amazing. I don't know how I would do all the work here without them. Makes me walk a lot better. That's it. What I need is a whole body compression suit. That's what I need. Yep. So just grateful I can walk. Grateful I can do the work that I want to do. Yes, grateful every day. Pain or no pain. Okay, more pain than not pain, but it's doable. It's doable, and I'm grateful for every day that I can walk. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you, and I will talk to you another time.